people feel like because Beyonce set the standard of live performance for a woman in R&B and pop, people feel like, okay, if you're not like Beyonce, then you're trash. Or, oh, who could ever? Oh, she's the best. Or, you could never, she could never, and all this stuff they like to say. But it's just like, what if Aaliyah didn't want to be that type of performer?
Wow, that's a great question.
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
And here's the thing that really gets me when it comes to the stan wars and the stan bases, where I feel like, and I used to be like this, where I'm like, where because there's so much favoritism for the other artists, where it's like you're a Beyonce fan, right? Or you're a Aaliyah fan. Some people can be fans in the middle, right? You might have a better liking for one or the other. Same thing with Beyonce and Rihanna, or Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. But it's like some people just like, oh no, like to build one up, they'll knock the other down or just say all this vicious, nasty, trashy things about the other one, where it's like, you know, it turns from like a, oh, okay, Aaliyah Beyonce debate, and then all of a sudden it's plane crash jokes and this jokes and then miscarriage jokes, and then I'm like,
oh my God.
The lowest is what? 0.
how did we get here?
Why are you doing that?
And you know, another funny thing is where it's this cycle where a certain fan base will make people not like the artist. Beyonce didn't do nothing to anybody for you to dislike her. Aaliyah died 20 something years ago. How do you dislike Aaliyah because something one of her fans said over Beyonce or this one or that one?
Could somebody please make it make sense?
Or it's like the people that I don't get the hype for both of them, for Aaliyah and Beyonce. You'll see people saying, "Oh, they overrated. I don't get the hype." Da 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 da. And that's the thing. Even with everything that Beyonce would do in the over the topness, a lot of people would just say, "I don't get the hype." Even with Michael Jackson, I'm starting to see that now with Michael Jackson. A lot of some fans are saying, "Oh, other fan bases. Oh, all he did was spin around on stage and grab his crotch and doodle and do moonwalk. Oh, what was so special about that?"
Now, you done pissed me off.
I feel like nowadays, some people's minds, you can't please everybody, but you could be hanging upside down, land on your head, start breakdancing while singing in a 5-octave range on a pogo stick. And some people will be like, that was alright. Yeah, such and such is still better. It was like, you can't, no matter what, you can do what you can do as an artist, as an entertainer, as a live performer, as a singer. Whoever catches on to you, whoever becomes fans of you, whoever supports you as an artist, that's what it was meant to be. Because nowadays, it's like, and these same people that always say, oh, this was that, this is overrated, da da da, they'll go hype up a rapper like Ice Spice. So, I'm not saying nothing, but you know what I'm saying, right? Another funny thing with Beyonce I noticed is I talk about audience participation and how and I noticed, especially in her early performances, when the audience wasn't engaged enough, she would be like,
Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. Stand up.
I'm not playing, like I'm giving y'all all of this energy and all of these vocals and y'all just sitting there looking at me. It's another video a few years ago, I remember she's performing and everybody just had their phone like, and Beyonce had to stop singing. It was like, put the phone down. You're gonna miss the show. You miss an experience. I'm trying to give y'all an experience and y'all just, like, would you rather watch this on your phone when you get home or watch it live in person? Because, you know, back in the days, before it was cell phones and recording and all that, it was like actually watching the show, enjoying the show in person. Nowadays, everything is just to post it on Instagram, like, look, I'm seeing Beyonce. It was like, you're going to miss that experience. And that's the thing. Music industry is changing. Whole entertainment industry is changing. But I feel like Beyonce has always kept to those roots of being like that classic artist, you know, with her music videos and her live performances and just her artistry alone and experimenting here and there, but bringing it back to that classic roots of being like a well-developed artist. And that's what has taken her thus far. Well, I feel like Aaliyah was like that in a way too, but a major difference between Aaliyah and Beyonce. It's not only, you know, the different energies, the different attitudes on stage and the different music they made, different energy levels, but they had different teams. Like I said, with Matthew Knowles and Columbia Records, Beyonce, Destiny Child had big machines pushing them. Aaliyah and her label, Blackground, you know, by her uncle, who had her music out of stock, out of streaming services, out of print for like almost 20 years. That's who Aaliyah was with.
And going off of part one, some people decided to get slick in the comments, and it reminded me of things I forgot to address while I was filming. Number one, I need y'all to realize, the ones that say, Destiny's Child was outselling her, oh my God, Aaliyah was no competition, Destiny's Child outsell all her albums altogether, all the stuff they like to say, right? But do y'all realize the different labels, different promotion, which led to the different success that they had? Destiny's Child was on Columbia Records that had a big machine behind them. People don't know, like the fans do, Aaliyah did not have a great, big, huge machine behind her, you know, with the record labels really pushing and doing this and doing that and taking every opportunity, every chance to get a song to go number one, to perform at the Grammys, to perform at the VMAs, to perform at all these events to get the song to go number one without the major radio play that it would receive, that they would pay for. Aaliyah was on Blackground Records by her uncle. And if y'all don't know about that and the way he ran that label, and all the mistakes he made and how all the artists on that label like JoJo and Tank and Tony Braxton had to end up suing him. Every bad decision he made with that, he let the record label go defunct. And then he had Aaliyah's music and everyone else's music on that label out of print for like at least almost 20 years. How y'all think he was running the label back then? Like I said, the success Aaliyah had being on that label was a miracle. Honestly, do y'all know how many more number one hits and at least top 5 singles Aaliyah could have had on the Hot 100 if Barry Hankerson released it right? And a lot of y'all like to say, oh, Beyonce was, oh my God, like Beyonce, like her debut album outsold her, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, Aaliyah's album wasn't doing that well. And I said this at least 10 times. Aaliyah's album at the time in 2001 had no popular single really pushing it. We Need a Resolution came out earlier that year, but by the time her album came out in that July, there was no popular single on the radio to really push it. Now, the year before, Try Again came out in 2000. Try Again had so much radio play. The video was such a big hit on MTV and all of the music video channels that Try Again alone pushed the Romeo You Must Die soundtrack to sell over 2 million copies. Aaliyah's self-titled album had no popular single pushing it. Even with that, a month later, before she passed, it still went gold, selling over 500,000 copies. Compared to when Beyonce came out with her debut album in 2003, she had Crazy in Love, which was a big hit on the radio and on the charts. So it's like, if you want to say something, make it make sense. Look into why this happened. Look into why that happened. It's easy to compare and contrast, like, oh look, she had higher chart positions, but it's like, okay, she had a higher chart position. Crazy in Love went number one, her album debut and more because she had a bigger single pushing the album, compared to We Need a Resolution, which wasn't a big radio hit. Now, if Try Again was pushing Aaliyah's last album, it would have been a different story. But even with that, the album still went gold within a month. And I see something else I want to address on Twitter again, where some people was comparing and contrasting like, oh, Aaliyah was only black people famous. Like, oh, Beyonce was a crossover artist from the gate. Destiny's Child was a crossover artist from the gate. And I'm like, did y'all forget when Destiny's Child first album came out? Not the album with Say My Name and Bills, Bills, Bills. They first album with the Why You Saying No, 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 when it's really yeah. Y'all forgot that album? That album didn't do that well. Only song that popped off that album was No, 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 when Wyclef Jean did a remix to it. That album didn't sell well. That album didn't give them no crossover. Their next album, Bills, 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 Say My Name, and then after that, you know, they had Survivor and Bootylicious and all those songs. And then to add on top of that, all the drama there was with the group members and switching the members and then LaToya, Latavia, then Farrah, Michelle, and all of that created a whirlwind in the media to really help push the sales as well. Meanwhile, Aaliyah was a solo artist, just releasing her music. She didn't have the best promotion under her label, but she still was successful and she still was getting into other endeavors like movies and brand deals and her own clothing line, and her brother Rashad was going to be working on like a video game. All these different things Aaliyah was getting into, Aaliyah would have definitely remained relevant. Even if she wasn't topping every chart, winning every Grammy, she would have been a force in the industry one way or another. And you can't say Aaliyah was only black famous when you had clips in the 90s like this.
エイジアイントナッシングバッターナンバーはなんと100万枚という大ヒットを記録。シングル「If We Are Girl Only Knew」も絶好調の彼女。ここぞとばかりに自慢のダンスを披露する渋谷のストリートダンサーたち。アリーヤもどうやら満足してくれたみたいですね。今日でお送りします。
You can have all the talent in the world, you can have the looks, you can have this, you can have that, you can have the hottest songs, but if you don't have that great team pushing you, and I'm talking about choreographers, producers, label executives, you know, publicists, if you don't have those great people behind you, then it's not going to really do that much, or if it does that much, it's not going to sustain for a long time. And that's why, even though Aaliyah tragically left us early, the things and the music and the impact and what she was able to accomplish and give to us and contribute to the entertainment industry in her 7-year career, that has carried her over 20 years after she's passed. So we're now, in August, it's going to be 22 years since she's passed, right? 22 years. When Aaliyah died, she was 22. She was alive just as long as she almost been gone now, physically gone. So it's like the fact that her legacy and her music and everything has carried her this far, that speaks to just how great of an artist she was and just how great of an artist she was becoming. Like I said, Beyonce would do this.
Baby boy, you stay on my mind, fulfill my fantasy. Baby girl, because they cannot be denied. Come take me in at the night, I make her get it. You fight it.
Sorry, no Aaliyah song required her to do that. It is what it is.
Nothing more, nothing less.
And the matter of the fact is, Aaliyah didn't have to. She didn't want to. She didn't feel like doing all. Like, you know, we love Beyonce for what she gives, but it's like Aaliyah didn't have to do that. And simple as that.
Thank you. No, but no.
And another point I want to hit is people using Aaliyah's death as some type of leverage or like scapegoat for why she's still popular. And notice specifically, Aaliyah and Beyonce were nominated for the R&B Hall of Fame, right? And right away, Aaliyah took the lead spot. Beyonce fans didn't really catch on, and then once they caught on, they started voting. So Aaliyah's in first place, Beyonce's in second place. But then I saw a Twitter thread where a whole bunch of Beyonce fans was like, oh my God, Aaliyah's gonna win. She's gonna win. Oh my God, it's only because she died. Oh, she didn't die, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, how long, not even Beyonce fans, but I see this in general, as a general argument, how long are people gonna keep using Aaliyah's death as an excuse for why she's still popular? You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah didn't die 20 days ago. She died over 20 years ago. So at this point, make it make sense.
Could somebody please make it make sense?
And no offense, but over half the people on the nomination list for the R&B Hall of Fame have passed. So what's the excuse for them not taking the lead? Aaliyah never got to get to that huge, like, you know, level that Beyonce is on now. The superstar, like, oh my God, the queen bee. She never got to get to that level, but she was well on her way. And then the thing is, like I said, maybe Aaliyah didn't want to be that type of, you know, like, oh, I'm the queen of the industry type of attitude. Maybe she just wanted to do her music that was really popular, do some movies that were really popular.
You're an errand boy for my father.
Start her businesses. You know, Aaliyah was going to do her fashion lines and this line and different things, work on her brother with animations and all type of things Aaliyah was really getting into. And it's just like, I feel like it's so unnecessary, pointless, useless, and just a waste of energy to just keep putting them against each other when it's just like these are two beautiful, black, successful women that gave us all they got in this entertainment industry. I'm just saying, it's about time that Aaliyah and Beyonce can be mentioned in the same conversation, and it's not like a who's better, who's prettier, who's this, who's that. Beyonce got the most Grammys of all time. Destiny's Child was outselling her. You had Beyonce doing all of that on stage, and you look at a Aaliyah performance from the 90s or the early 2000s, it may seem underwhelming compared to what Beyonce was doing on her performances. But then again, like I said, a lot of people don't remember that Beyonce didn't start off as this powerful showstopper performer. She had to work her way up, because you look at some early performances, you'll see a lot of fans in the comments like, oh my God, she got so much better. She got so much better. She improved so much. Oh, look at Baby B. She improved so much.
Say, it's Beyonce. Crazy right now, your love's got me looking so crazy. So crazy. Looking so crazy, your love's got me looking.
Where I'm like, yeah, Beyonce didn't come out the womb.
MTV, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't come out the womb like show-stopping, having standing ovation performances. She had to train and work her way up to that, you know? Even when, you know, Rihanna did the Super Bowl a month and some change ago, and it was all this hype around Rihanna's performance, and even I was hyped to look at it, and, you know, we come to find out Rihanna was pregnant and everything like that, but I enjoyed the performance and the visuals of it, but I was a little underwhelmed with the performance because I was just expecting more, you know? And honestly, I gotta say, after Rihanna's performance, I went on YouTube and I looked at Michael Jackson's Super Bowl performance, and then I looked at Beyonce's Super Bowl performance, because I remember watching Beyonce's performance 10 years ago and just feeling the energy and the power from it. Whereas Rihanna was just like a, you know, nonchalant, lackadaisical type of thing to it. Beyonce was like she had, even all this time, 2013, Beyonce was really popular, really successful, you know, the queen bee in the industry, right? But she still was performing like she had something to prove. And there's something really intriguing about that. Something that's really like show-stopping about that. And like, it made me want to go back and look at her performance, because Rihanna's performance left me like with so much to be desired. And another thing, Beyonce first came out, her first single, if it really went well, was going to be Work It Out, which is really 70s inspired and everything like that. But that didn't really take off. So what happened? She went back in the studio. She got some new producers together. I think it was Rich Harrison. And she came up with Crazy in Love. And the thing about Crazy in Love as an official debut single is the high energy. And Crazy in Love has that really marching band, homecoming type of vibe to it. Like, dun, 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 dun. Like, it's really energetic. And, you know, they came up with the whole, that whole thing. I remember that. I was like 8 or 9 when that came out. But I remember that being a big song. Everybody doing the dance. I remember that. And for that to be her debut single, to come out, and all her performances, and it's crazy because it's like, as I watch every Crazy in Love performance from the early 2000s, you can tell like they got better and better and better. From the choreography to the visuals to like the way she put the show together to like the way the band played it, and just the whole entire visual of the show that she would do. They just got better and better. I feel like with Aaliyah, that wasn't really a focal point for her to be just like, you know, type of performer. She just did the song, did some choreography to it, wore a nice outfit, made sure her hair was done like it always was, and it was what it was. She went about her business, she went about her day. Now, when it came to touring and live performances and everything, I feel like Aaliyah would have definitely improved upon that, worked with different choreographers, worked with different effects and visuals to make the show like, but, you know, at the end of the day, she still was able to capture an audience, capture people, and create this fan base that's still strong all this time later, with just being herself, not doing too much, and just being naturally dope. You can tell with Aaliyah, she never tried too hard. She never overdid it. She always did just enough. And sometimes that just enough is not enough for other people when compared to, like, you know, watching a Beyonce performance or whatever. But everyone's opinion, or everything that people find captivating, is subjective. Music is subjective. Live performances are subjective. What you like, what you think is better than this or better than that is subjective. Everybody has different tastes. Some people's tastes can meet in the middle, you know? And it is what it is. Like I said before, Beyonce and Aaliyah both gave their all to this industry. And I can appreciate both of them for that alone. Because, like Aaliyah even said herself, she was only competing with herself to be the best version of herself. She was competing with this one or that one to get the most Grammys, the most number ones, the most sales in her first week. And as you can tell, if you look at Beyonce's performances over the years, Beyonce in a way was competing with herself, because you can see the progression in her performances and how she just got better and better and better. Somewhere along the way they would have met in the middle, I feel, as far as like, okay, you know, maybe having albums or songs out at the same time. But I feel like they would have just been friendly with each other. They probably would have worked together. And it doesn't have to be just Beyonce fans, Beehive, Aaliyah fans, and it's like,
Take this analogy for example. Those that get it will get it. A tiger and a snake are two very different striking animals. Both attack prey, right? A tiger is known for being fierce, ferocious, and powerful, even when it stalks its prey, while a snake is known for its dark and mysterious nature and smooth movements. It slithers, it slides, it slips and glides, being a fierce striker every so often when it needs to. Two different strikers, both intriguing, both successful in their end goal. Y'all get where I'm going with this?
and that's really all I have to say when it comes to the whole Aaliyah, Beyonce, who would have been better? Oh, yeah. Like, we don't even need to really have those conversations. I'm having this discussion because I keep seeing it come up, and it's like it's becoming more apparent, and it's becoming a recurring theme and debate. And I'm like, there's no need for it. They both were dope. They both have long-lasting legacies, and I appreciate them for what they were able to give to us to enjoy all these years later. And I want to end this by saying, what do y'all think about the whole Aaliyah Beyonce debate and who would have been better and this and that, and biggest competition? And do y'all think Aaliyah would have been her biggest competition? Or do you think Aaliyah would have just moved in a different direction? A lot of people say they think she would have did more acting and more this, more that. I feel like Rihanna, I feel like Aaliyah would have went in like a Rihanna, Jennifer Lopez type of route, where a lot of movies, but still making sure she put out some hits every now and then. And she would have won some Grammys, maybe had some Oscar nominations, maybe. I feel like she would have had a successful clothing line, successful brand deals, successful businesses, to where like she probably at some point would have put music on the back burner like Rihanna did now, you know? And Beyonce would be the Beyonce she is today. Both Aaliyah and Beyonce are having a concert on the same night. You could choose the Beyonce concert or the Aaliyah concert. They both the same time, both the same night. Which concert are you going to go to?
Wow, that's a great question.
Which songs or performance styles do you gravitate more towards? Drop down below, what are your favorite Beyonce and Aaliyah albums? My favorite Aaliyah album is her self-titled album. My favorite song from the album is Rock the Boat. My favorite Beyonce album right now is her debut album, Dangerously in Love. And my favorite song from that album is Signs. I feel like Signs is one of Beyonce's most underrated songs. And the fact that she never performed that live, it's just like, you know, the song where she's naming all the zodiac signs. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, I love all you. That's my shit. That song is my shit. Missy Elliott did that shit. You know, with the production, Missy killed that shit. Beyonce with the vocals and the arrangement. Just really listen to that song, Signs, from Beyonce's debut album. They killed that shit. I really wish that Beyonce would have performed that song live, but it is what it is. You know, she got this new tour coming up. Maybe she probably won't, let's be honest, but you never know. You just never know. And for all the Beyonce fans out there, did you get them tickets to the Renaissance tour? What songs are you excited to see her perform live? And like, how do you think the visuals of this show is going to be? Like, you know, Beyonce is known for her live performances. How do you think this new tour is going to measure up for her? That'll be interesting. I can't wait to see. I didn't get no tickets, but I already know you're going to see the footage on social media. And I'm excited to see like how this tour is going to play off of her. So anyways, guys, that was just my take on the whole Aaliyah versus Beyonce debate that we're still having 22 years later. And I just really wish that people would just change the conversation around to make it more positive. And I hope the next time Aaliyah and Beyonce are in the same sentence, it's because they both got inducted into the R&B Hall of Fame, which you can still vote on until like April. But other than that, thank you for watching and listening. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.
I'm your girl, you're my girl. Won't you know that we love you?